Chinese Starlink launching in over 30 countries, and South Africa could be on the menu. So we know Starlink, right, is the Elon Musk product, right? But the Chinese are planning their own Starlink. What the flip? An incoming Chinese-run rival to SpaceX Starlink service. What the flip? Why is it doing that? Could be okay. I don't know why it's doing that. Could beat the Elon Musk-owned company to launching satellite broadband services in South Korea, South Africa. SpaceSail, also called Quan-Fan, the 1,000 cells constellation for G60 Starlink, is a low Earth orbit LEO satellite broadband service that aims to offer worldwide internet coverage in the coming years. The venture is run by the Shanghai Spacecom Satellite Technology, with financial backing from the Shanghai Municipal People's Government and the Chinese Academy of Sciences. This is expected to increase to 15,000 satellites by 2030. Okay. The China Central Television reported that the company plans to have 648 satellites in orbit by 2025 and 1,296 in total by the end of the constellation's first rollouts. Whoa. While SpaceSail will need to expand quickly to catch up to Starlink, it is important to note that the US firm already launched limited services when it had much fewer satellites in operation. SpaceSail aims to begin offering commercial broadband services this year. It could capitalize on an opportunity in markets that have resisted Starlink's rollouts over anti-US political and sovereignty concerns. Whoa, Starlink is not available and seems to have no plans to launch in China, Iran, Russia, Afghanistan, Syria, Cuba, North Korea, and Belarus. These countries are considered political or economic enemies of the US. Oh, Starlink, Theo, has also struggled to get approvals in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and numerous African countries. Theo, China is planning its own Starlink, Theo. How is China doing this? I think, and Theo, is this a good thing for China to be having an equivalent to US tech? So for Tesla, they have BYD. For Starlink, they have this one coming out. They have robots coming out to measure to US tech as well. It seems you mentioned US, Baba, in tech and all that stuff, Baba. What's your thoughts here, Theo?
I'm not surprised at all. This is, I think, very normal. Also, the EU should do the same thing. They should have their own Starlink. So they should. I think more competition is better for the consumer and for the planet. I don't have any problems with this. The United States has economic sanctions against various countries. If China comes out with their own internet services, that's fine. Because remember, it'll be over those internet services that Western ideas come over anywhere propagated. So you might as well go ahead and do it. It's kind of silly to stop, to try to stop something from coming into your country, some sort of service. It's kind of like YouTube isn't legal right now in Russia. So a bunch of Russians just get up VPNs and they go around to the Russian censorship and they just go ahead and, go get it anyway. Right? It's silly. So, you have the Chinese doing this. I say hats off to them. That's fine. It makes sense that they would do this. They'd have their own system. Europe should do the same thing. I'd say Brazil should do the same thing. Like, why can't they do this? So it's not that hard to rent some space on like a SpaceX, rocket. They can put their own satellites over there and make sure it's mainly over South America or their own land, right? Their own continent. And they can have that for their own people. It really is not that hard to do. So hats off to them. I think this is a good thing for the planet.
Theo, it mentions here, right, Starlink is not in Russia, Afghanistan, Syria, and these are countries that are enemies of the US, right? So China is obviously politically neutral. They'll work with anyone regardless of what you believe in, right? So there's already a market here for them to corner or to work in Russia, Afghanistan, Syria, North Korea, etc., etc. Do you think that US and the West, right, are shooting themselves in the foot, right? By by having enemies all around the world, where China doesn't really care and will go to any market. And is that why they're beating the US around the world, Theo, in your opinion?
Because Syria, Iran, Afghanistan, and Russian markets are so great that losing them deters Western power. Come on, man. That's no, not at all. What you're looking at is the educational system in the West, the welfare system in the West, the amount of debt that you have in the West. Those kinds of points. That's where you look at to see whether or not the technology is possible, right? That's where it stops. It's not okay because they can't. We were not able to transmit the Damascus, Syria, so therefore we lost 20% of global market share. No, that's not the way it works. no. It's the United States has a reason to have that embargo. I'd say I don't have a problem with it either. They let them do it.
Where's Africa and the Caribbean in this? What have black people done and innovated in the last 15, 20 years? Like the Chinese, I think come on, man, like they're doing a lot of things. I just want to see one black country do something like this. Theo, is it over in your opinion, or do we have to wait 20 years to get to see something? Because that's what is going on.
I would say the country with the largest black population, which might be able to do this, would be Brazil. Because, again, they have the largest black population outside of Africa. And if anyone's going to do something like this on a Starlink level, it's going to be Brazil. In terms of an African country doing it, well, let's think about something a little bit more down to earth. Let's just try to get a region, like a cloud region, in a black country in Africa. Let's go for that first. So can they get an AWS, GCP, or Azure region with 3 availability zones in a black African country? Can we get that? Can we get that? Then we can start thinking about Starlink.
Man, damn. Okay, that's a brutal truth right there. It's sad, man.
Well, you have the data centers, you have the tech environment. So you have the tech environment, you got to have the infrastructure, you got to have enough power, right? You got to have stability. So Nairobi, that area is probably the most likely to actually qualify that within a black area, right? So are they going to get their act together and do it? Well, let's hope. I don't know. And, let's see what happens. Ethiopia, somewhere around there, Kenya. Let's see what happens.
Facts, bro.